I've been seeing a lot of shit lately on the internets about people talking about how beating your kids is wrong, beating your kids is a bad thing to do, blah blah blah, this is that and the third. Stabilize this fucking camera. You know, I really like that Shorts show Subway Takes. It's pretty cool. They be having some funny shit on there. Some of this shit is kind of gay. And I'll give you an example of one of them. And this guy talking about how beating your kids is something that we learned from the slave masters, and we should never ever beat our kids ever. And citing like psychology professors and stuff like that, and this is that and the third. I understand where the guy's coming from. I get it. But at the end of the day, check this out. In the world, there's violence. In the world, there's trauma. In the world, there's pain. In the world, there's torture. In the world, there's punishment. In the world, there's consequences. Now, you may say, oh, but that's not something that you need to impart on your children, right? This world is painful enough. You don't have to be an added thing that's causing trauma to your children. Absolutely. I 100% agree. However, a child that comes into this world is a wild soul, okay? They're coming from a completely different realm where they could basically do whatever the fuck they want. Guess what? In this plane that we're in, where there's dense matter, okay, that we've been condensed into, the rules are not exactly the same, okay? The rules are not exactly the same. And so you as the parent are gonna be the first person that has to introduce them to how the fuck this world works, okay? Now, am I saying that each and every single time that you discipline your child, you should beat them? No. Am I saying that beating your children is the only way of disciplining them? No. It is the ultimate last resort, okay? The ultimate last resort. What you should first do is talk to your kids. Absolutely. Let them know what they're doing is wrong, okay? Second thing you do, if that doesn't work, you separate them from the rest of the group. Put them in a corner, make them face the fucking wall. Put them in a timeout, okay? Now, what do you do in a situation where you put a child in a timeout, but they refuse to sit there, or they refuse to look at the wall, okay? They want to get up and move. They refuse to listen to you. If you've had a toddler with a very strong will, you know exactly what I'm talking about, okay? What do you do in that situation? You fucking beat them. That's what the fuck you do. Because you need to let them know, hey, listen, these are the rules of this household. This is the rule of this tribe. Now, this is where people get shit fucked up, okay? The reason why some people who get beat are raised and they have some sort of emotional setback or whatever, blah, 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 is because you got beat by an emotional parent. And that's the fucking problem. Let me light this cigarette real quick. I've been wanting to smoke a Newport for like the past week. You know what I mean? I've been working with this guy. He smokes Newports every once in a while. You know, he'll just give me a fucking Newport and I'll smoke it because, you know, why not? Yeah, it's not something I do on a regular basis. I like to smoke cigars. If you watch my channel, you know. But, you know, Newports make me feel like I'm back, you know, back in the old days again. You know what I'm saying? Back on the block again and shit like that. But, yeah, let me light this fucking cigarette real quick so I can bring the rest of my point home. Bought a fresh pack of Newports. Ooh, so good. I'm probably gonna smoke a couple of these and just give the pack away to my fucking buddy at work. Anyway, I know he's gonna run out of cigarettes by the end of this week. Anyway, so fuck, this shit stinks. Too much noise. Alright. So the problem is that you got beat by an emotional parent. So if you're a parent and you're gonna be doing the beating or any discipline or any reprimanding, you can never do it from a place of emotion. You can never do it from a place of anger. You can never do it from a place of frustration. When you sit and you talk to your child, you talk to them. You don't yell at them. You don't yell at them. When you sit and you put them in timeout, you don't go. No. You grab them by the arm, bring them to the corner, put a stool there, sit their ass down, or make them sit on the floor, or make them sit on their knees, face the wall. Okay? Very calm, cool, and collective. If none of those things are working and you're crossing the boundary to where you have to beat your children, guess what? You cannot do it from a place of emotion. If you're feeling very emotional at that time, you need to stand back. You need to fall back. Walk out of the room if you need to. Take a couple of deep breaths, then come back in. Take them upstairs to their room, close the door when nobody's around. You don't need to embarrass them. Close the door when nobody's around, and you beat them very dispassionately. Very dispassionate ass whooping. Okay? Because I've done both. I have, in the earlier days of myself being a parent, beat my child out of a place of emotion. And guess what? I did not feel good. I felt very, very bad afterwards. And I could tell that my child felt very, very bad afterwards. They were afraid of me. Something in their soul told them, Daddy doesn't like me. Daddy hates me. Even though that's not true. But that's how they felt at the time. And I could really understand why they felt that way. And I felt like shit about it. So I had to stand back and analyze and say, this is not it. This is not right. But I do understand that corporal punishment is necessary. Okay? And this is the reason, and this is a deeper reason, a more mystical reason as to why I believe corporal punishment is necessary. Peep game, the universe, okay? God, karma, whatever the fuck you want to call it. Okay, the way it works is this. If you're living your life in a way where you're going against your highest good, you're not listening to your higher self, okay? You're being sinful. You're going against the rule of God, okay? What are the first things gonna happen? First things, there's gonna be a little voice in your head that's gonna tell you, hey, you shouldn't be doing that. Turn around, go somewhere else. Don't touch that, don't do that, right? It's gonna be that little voice, that's the warning, that's the talk, okay? Don't do that. However, if you continue to disobey, what happens next? You start to feel like shit. You lose your job. You lose your wife or your husband. Your kids are estranged from you. Your family's estranged from you. You get put on timeout. Okay, you start to lose things. You start to lose participation in the wonders of life. Okay, that's God putting you on a timeout. But what if you continue to disobey? What happens next? Violence happens next. You end up in a car crash. You end up in a horrible accident. Disease befalls you. You get attacked. You get robbed. Somebody stabs you. Somebody shoots you. You get jumped. These are the things that end up happening to you in life. God himself will punish you corporally if you continue to disobey. First, he gives you a warning. Second, he gives you a timeout. And third, and only third, if it's necessary, he will whoop your ass. Okay? He will whoop your ass. Alright? It's the way the world works, the way the universe works, my friend. Who are you to go against the law of God? Huh? God has shown you that that's the way things work. So, you must do it the same. But if you know God, you know that God still loves you. And God is not doing it from a place because he hates you. He's doing it because he wants you to wake up. He wants you to snap out of it. He wants you to realize, hey, listen, dumbass, I've been trying to tell you this for the past couple of years and you still don't fucking listen. So this is the reason why I had to do this. I had to snap you out of it. And sometimes that's the only way to do it. That's the only way to do it. And you'll realize that when you're dealing with a very unruly child, they're disobeying. They don't care about the warning. They don't care about the timeout. It's only until you whoop their ass that they're like, oh shit, I fucked up. Okay? I was raised, my father passed away when I was young. My mother, God bless her soul, didn't whoop my ass as much as she should. She maybe did it once. And even then it was a joke. Okay? She should have probably whooped my ass more, to be quite honest with you. Because if she did, guess what? God wouldn't have had to whoop my ass so many times. Alright? So, don't let these silly motherfuckers that don't really know about the darkness of life try to convince you that they're righteous, okay? There's some psychology professor that comes up from some Ivy League, whatever, who's expert on whatever, that comes up and says you should never beat your children ever, 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 ever. And nobody wants to argue against him, because if you argue against him, you're the bad guy, right? You're the guy who beats your children. You're horrible. Guess what? I'm not afraid to be the monster. I'm not afraid to be the bad guy, because everybody needs a bad guy. Everybody needs to point to somebody and say, that's the bad guy. I'm willing to play that role, my friend. And you should be too. You should definitely be too. Okay? Because woe to the man who goes through this life acting and behaving in ways in which he seeks the glory from other men's mouths. Woe to that man. That man is a false prophet. Okay? Because he's only in it to seek praise from other men. No. A man who seeks truth doesn't give a fuck about praise from other men. Doesn't give a fuck if they call him the bad guy. Doesn't give a fuck if they call him a monster, because he seeks the truth and the truth only. Alright? If at some point life shows me that I am mistaken about what I'm talking about right now, then guess what? I'll change my beliefs. I'll change my values. Because I'm not in it for a certain belief system. I'm not in it to uphold a certain belief system. I'm not in it to uphold anything. I'm in it to uphold the truth, and only the truth. And this is the truth that I've seen with my own eyes in my own experience. Okay? Stay aware, stay alert, and keep it gangster. Peace.